March 2025. Trump and Musk walk into a stadium together and the crowd erupts. But this isn't just a public appearance, it's a message. Trump once called Elon Musk one of the great minds of our time. But is Musk more than just a high-profile supporter? Their relationship has evolved. What began as the occasional Twitter spat has morphed into what insiders now describe as the most influential business-political partnership in modern American history. According to former White House staffers, Musk's name surfaces in policy discussions with striking regularity. One insider even claims that whenever major decisions are on the table, the president pauses and asks, "What would Elon think?" It's a level of influence that some say borders on unprecedented. Because behind the scenes, Elon Musk is getting billions in federal contracts. SpaceX, Tesla, Neuralink, all growing under Trump's watch. Since Trump's return to office, SpaceX has secured unprecedented defense contracts worth over $15 billion. Tesla received regulatory exemptions that competitors can only dream of. And Neuralink? Its brain implant technology is now fast-tracked for military applications with minimal oversight. And what happens when the man who controls the internet controls the message? Every time the administration faces criticism, a convenient narrative emerges on X, drawing attention elsewhere. Is it a coincidence or coordination? Documents obtained through FOIA requests show that the White House communications staff hold weekly strategy calls with X executives. What they discuss remains hidden behind non-disclosure agreements. But who is Elon Musk really? A South African kid who sold video games, or something more calculated? The official story portrays a self-made genius who coded his way to the top, but former associates paint a different picture of someone who recognized power structures early and methodically positioned himself within them. For years, the Musk family has sidestepped persistent questions about their rumored emerald mine wealth during apartheid-era South Africa. No clear answers have ever surfaced, only speculation and silence. Meanwhile, Musk's empire didn't rise in a vacuum. Tesla survived its infancy thanks to clean energy subsidies. SpaceX took flight with NASA contracts and Pentagon backing. Even Neuralink and the Boring Company grew with the help of regulatory leniency and public sector partnerships. Some insiders who once worked closely on federal contracts for Musk's ventures now quietly admit that the government didn't just support Musk, it supercharged him, and now America depends on him. He now controls a global internet network. He owns the electric car industry. He has AI in his back pocket. Even the Pentagon relies on him for space communication. Through Starlink, Elon Musk provides internet to over 25 million people around the globe, including military operations that require secure, stable connections in parts of rural America. And during the Russian invasion of Ukraine, Musk made a decision that stunned global leaders. He personally chose which regions would receive Starlink service. Not a president, not a prime minister, just one man deciding the flow of digital lifelines in a war zone. Power like that used to belong to governments. Now it rests in the hands of Elon Musk. One man, one empire, more powerful than some entire countries. Elon Musk's reach extends far beyond the boardroom. In just 1 year, he met with 17 heads of state, surpassing the diplomatic engagements of most U.S. senators. His company spanned virtually every strategic sector imaginable: transportation, energy, telecommunications, artificial intelligence, defense, and space. Within policy circles, it's increasingly acknowledged that in the 21st century, no private citizen wields more geopolitical influence than Musk. He operates at a level typically reserved for national leaders, commanding the kind of access and authority that can shape the global agenda without ever holding elected office. While Americans remain fixated on the theatrics of traditional politics, Elon Musk has been constructing something far more consequential behind the scenes: a sprawling techno-industrial complex embedded in the foundations of national infrastructure and security. What began as a partnership of convenience with the Trump administration has gradually transformed into a mutual dependency. The government benefits from headline-grabbing technological victories such as space launches, electric vehicle milestones, and AI breakthroughs. Meanwhile, Musk gains extraordinary access to power and policy influence. As the relationship deepens, the lines between private enterprise and public authority grow increasingly blurred. The blueprint became clear after Trump's 2024 victory. The quiet alliance between Musk and the administration was no longer just speculative, it was becoming structural. Within weeks, Musk was seen at Mar-a-Lago, reportedly reviewing transition strategies and outlining technological priorities. By the time Inauguration Day arrived, 5 former executives from Tesla and SpaceX had already been placed in influential roles across the departments of energy, transportation, and defense. To some, this signaled a corporate takeover of the federal apparatus, with critics warning of blurred loyalties and unchecked influence. Others, however, celebrated the move as a long overdue infusion of real-world expertise into a traditionally slow-moving bureaucracy. Then came the policy shifts. An executive order was signed to streamline environmental regulations for companies of strategic importance, a designation that conveniently encompassed nearly all of Musk's ventures. Soon after, NASA's budget was restructured, diverting billions towards Mars-focused initiatives, an area where SpaceX was already leading the charge. Simultaneously, adjustments to the tax code began favoring firms investing in artificial intelligence and space technologies. This created a landscape where Musk's enterprises didn't just thrive, they dominated. To those watching from the inside, it felt less like a policy agenda and more like a strategic reorganization of the federal government around a single business empire. Perhaps most telling, however, was the transformation in Trump's own rhetoric. The president, who once rallied behind fossil fuels and championed energy independence, began emphasizing solar power and electric vehicles, as long as they were made on American soil. The same administration that had once cast doubt on climate change suddenly embraced green innovation, but only when it originated from Musk's factories. To some, it signaled a pragmatic pivot. To others, it was a striking illustration of how deeply one man's business empire had become interwoven with national policy. Whether out of political convenience or strategic alliance, the line between private influence and public governance had never been thinner. The partnership between Elon Musk and Donald Trump has proven to be more strategically advantageous than some might have imagined. While Trump has been able to showcase tangible technological victories to his base, boasting about American rockets, American cars, American innovation, he frequently stands proudly beside Musk at factory openings and SpaceX launch events. These milestones serve as powerful symbols for Trump of American ingenuity and economic resurgence, reinforcing his narrative of a revitalized nation. But the implications of this alliance reach far beyond financial gains. When the world's richest man and a sitting president align so closely, the usual checks and balances face unprecedented challenges. Constitutional scholars have raised concerns about conflicts the Founding Fathers never anticipated. What happens, they ask, when private industry and governmental power become so deeply intertwined that their boundaries are almost indistinguishable? Not everyone, however, celebrates this new power dynamic. Critics raise serious concerns about the implications of such a tightly knit partnership between private industry and the government. Workers' rights advocates point to weakened labor protections at Musk's factories, highlighting growing inequalities and diminished worker rights in the push for efficiency and profit. Privacy experts sound alarms about the vast amounts of data being collected through Tesla vehicles, Neuralink implants, and Musk's social media platform X, raising questions about the extent to which personal freedoms may be compromised in the name of innovation. Environmental groups are equally skeptical, questioning the rapid approval of massive infrastructure projects without the typical oversight, potentially bypassing regulations designed to protect natural resources and communities. So when you see Trump at the podium, flanked by symbols of technological achievement, ask yourself, who's really calling the shots? When federal policies repeatedly favor the same businessman, when agencies reshape their missions to align with corporate objectives, and when international diplomacy begins to mirror business strategy, the question can no longer be ignored. Is the government serving the public or advancing the interests of one powerful empire? History shows that power concentrates when people aren't paying attention. While Americans debate traditional political divisions, a new form of influence has emerged, one that crosses party lines and operates in boardrooms rather than ballot boxes. The question isn't whether Musk influences Trump. The evidence makes that clear. The real question is, how much influence is too much in a democracy? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more explosive updates.